GamerFest, welcome back to the League of Legends section. Game 2 of UCD taking on DCU is going to be coming up right after this. And DCU on the brink of a 2-0 sweep. UCD trying to prevent that. Much harder battle for one side than the other. What's the first take after the first game?
Well, I mean, the early game was pretty close for both of these teams. For one team was very hard on the engage pattern. DCU, they wanted to go in, they wanted to burst you out. One side of UCD, disengage, play for the late game. And usually I'm a big fan of it, but I felt like the side of DCU said, okay, they're banning away their Karthus. Karthus did get banned away, they picked it up, and magically a champion's been banned away the whole season. They won on it. So for this game, of course, it is going to be fearless. Any champion they picked in the first game will get played for the second. So there's plenty of different champions. Of course, Ashe Seraphine, very popular. I want to see that coming out. Maybe the Corki Nami. Before this second game, I want just more aggression from UCD because it felt like they had no engage tools, which means if you're behind, there's no way really back into it.
Yeah, fall behind, stay behind, the oldest and noblest of pirate traditions. You have to just find ways of picking fights, and Jin W doesn't cut it.
No, 100% not. Of course, you got the Jin Ultimate, which slows them down, but you're not too happy. But I want to just talk about both of these teams and how they've actually got here. Because, of course, both of them did win 2-0 against other universities, but they've been playing the whole split while at university. And, of course, both of us have gone to university beforehand. Me to a UK one, but don't worry, this guy over here did play in the Irish leagues. And you can even just give a little bit of an insight on how these players are feeling coming to a LAN and just overall how it is being part of the community.
I mean, it's just different gravy. Being able to play on LAN is what the most...
So cool.
It's the highlight, right? It's the thing that you really care about, as draft will be on screen. More than likely, we're going to see some familiar faces, right? Ashe Seraphine, Nami. Smolder conspicuously absent. Stay that way. The PayPal, the small bribes to both teams
we put
seems
it
to have
there.
cash. Seems to have cash. I don't have to put up with it. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, 100%. I may have just WhatsApped them or PayPal'd them, sorry, some money for it. But the big thing about Smolder is it's just an absolute oppressive late-game threat. Now, both of these teams are opting for different champions, mostly because it gives more early-game agency. And we saw what happened last time. If you have no agency early, you can get absolutely steamrolled. As the Ashe Seraphine that we have mentioned beforehand have been banned away, while on the opposite side of the Draven and, of course, the Hecarim. Now, the interesting thing about UCD is they're most likely going to ban away the Karma, meaning that the Caitlyn, which a lot of teams have high priority in, isn't actually towards the higher side, because yes, you can play it with Lux, which we have seen DCU play, but there's also plenty of other options like the Nico or any sort of, I guess, engaged sort of support.
Yeah, as you have the last couple bans flip on through, it is for the second monitor enjoyers. Ashe, Seraphine, Syndra up against the other side of that Draven, the Hecarim, and the Karma. It feels like we haven't seen that much Nico, and a champion that I think is always fun. When you're trying to consider so many things, you hear the crowd pops every time there's making a play. You're trying to play in a setup other than your home, and then you have to count creeps on top of it. So easy to lose it in the mental stack. It's a champion I am so fond of on LAN.
Now, do you know what other champion you're fond of? It is going to be that J4 that is locked in first for DCU. Of course, incredible engage tool. However, is a champion that likes to deal with enemy champions which can't move, don't have any disengage tools, a bit like that Victor we saw last game. And on the opposite side, Caitlyn instantly gets taken away, and they, of course, have the net to get out of it. So this J4 is super strong, but not as strong as one of those mobile carries.
Yeah, you have it, the blind, because he's always going to get value. You could give him Sundered Sky and a ham sandwich, and he's going to get his job done.
Even the ham sandwich.
It does not matter what you have. You're going to have some value. EQR. There will be some value. Just the more mobility you have, the less so that it will.
You need to play this more in solo queue, I swear. You'd have so much fun and enjoyment on that way. But on the opposite side, we see the Caitlyn already picked up. We have, of course, the Karthus, the Nocturne on the opposite side. A really good counter, actually, against the J4. You talk about the flag and drag, of course, it knocks somebody up. Karthus completely counters that. You run him down, he's not having fun. With Caitlyn in the bot lane, really good priority. So it feels like UCD are going for a hard engage composition, completely different to last game.
Yeah, a complete pivot on that front. You expect a little bit of more mobility to try and deal with the Karthus, or to try and deal with the Nocturne. Orianna is the one that my head was rolling to. The Karthus is stuck in my head from the previous game. Orianna loves Nocturne. Orianna loves J4.
Now, Orianna would be incredible for both these teams. The only problem is a champion like Xerath is so difficult to deal with. And I like the Azir a whole lot more, just because, of course, you've got the disengage tool with the streamer shuffle, but also that ultimate, that wall, meaning if Nocturne ever comes in, you just shove it back out to safety, allowing you and your Ezreal to have incredible range. But still, UCD, I think you go for the game plan, you go for harder to engage. Orianna does incredible against Azir before level 6. Use that priority, bully out the J4, and do exactly what DCU did against you in that first game.
And in your head, you're like, oh, Ezreal, he's got Arcane Shift. He's slippery. He's able to get away from very sticky situations. Nocturne Oriad doesn't care if you have 1 dash, no dash, or 100 dashes.
Yeah.
You will be eating Shockwave, and you must then deal with that.
And it's important because the way that UCD need to play this is getting the major ability out first, like the Arcane Shift you talked about from the Ezreal. Once that's out, he's basically sitting fish. He is dead, but there's so much outplay potential before these massive team fights for those abilities. Now for UCD, we've already seen their AD carry, their support, their mid laner, and their jungler. Now the things they're trying to ban away are supports that can get rid of their Orianna and Caitlyn easier. Bard, absolutely incredible. My favorite champion, something that wants to hard engage and go in. I think other possibilities is something like a Lux that we aforementioned seen from DCU, who can be an absolute thorn in the side of UCD with just that stun and mostly that early game damage.
Yep, trying to use that lockdown, some front load, get your lead, take it all the way to the other side of the rift as we have a couple more bans filtering through. Second rotation, continuing the trend of support pinches.
Yep.
You already had that Nami, the Bard, Nautilus there to follow suit. Point and click lockdown on top of point and click lockdown. Don't want to be putting up with that.
Yeah, 100%. And now DCU will be going for their last ban. I'm a big fan of this Aatrox pick. It's something that UCD's top laner absolutely loves. As a big thing about UCD is they have 3 AD carry players who are masters on their team. And that's one of their top laners. So it's either an AD carry or it's Aatrox. And with Aatrox off the board, there's a chance maybe the team on top we saw beforehand could even see something like the Vayne. But I can also still play a tank.
Varus, another one in that. The year is 2026. And rules do not exist. Cardinus, you mean mid lane, jungle, AD. Yeah. You have Varus, who is a damn near everything but jungle at this point in time. You can basically start these flexes left, right, and center. And as these support pinches conclude with a Nami, Lux, burst, damage. It may not be a Nico, same concept. Lux, Kate.
And it's interesting because this is actually what DCU picked up last time. They went for the J4 plus the Lux and Caitlyn. UCD have completely stolen that away to have priority in the bot lane. And take a look, prior in mid, prior in bot lane. They have perfectly set themselves up to bully out this J4. While on the opposite side for DCU, it's all about that disengage. And it's completely just switched from last game.
I'm waiting on this. Never get baited by the hover. Wait for the complete. It is a Blitzcrank. God hand. Oct going to be pulling that one out. Pyke, a champion he is very proficient on. Rel, a champion he is very proficient on. Blitzcrank, the champion, is either the best champion of the game or the worst champion of the game, depending on a spell.
Okay, for everybody at home, if you don't know much about Blitzcrank, it's all about that hook. You hit that hook, someone's dead. And let's look at the enemy team. Lux, no mobility, easy hook target. Caitlyn, yes, she has the E, but very choreographed. Easy hook target, same for the Orianna. There is so many opportunities to try and make these plays. The only trouble I'm having is they don't have prior in mid and don't have prior in bot. And the reason you want prior bot lane is so your Blitzcrank can roam around the map and find those hooks.
Granted, he is with an Ezreal, a champion who is more than happy to stand behind his tower, throw out Mystic shots, and even if you don't have priority, just send the Blitzcrank. Just go cause problems elsewhere. Ruin the jungler's day, ruins midday. I'll still get most of these creeps. Go beat them harder than I lose and take that all the way.
Yeah, and I'm a little less concerned for the late game for DCU than I usually am, because when you pick a Blitzcrank in the nicest way late, he doesn't hit a hook. He's a counter minion. But they have the Sign and they have the Azir. They have a great front line and great damage potential. On the opposite side, they have Caitlyn and an Orianna who, yes, can deal incredible damage. But that's nothing compared to an Azir late game.
Yeah, an Azir who can play both ways, right? You can always go for the montage where you EQ flash, you try and get the 5-man shuffle, you try and get yourself on the front page. Or you can stand behind Blitzcrank Scion and just stab them. Just soldier them all the way down. But you have the Azir, you have the Ezreal front to back. completely comfortable.
Yeah, and if there's a game to do it, it would be the one to win you the whole entire series. Of course, both these teams have worked so hard to get themselves in this position. This game, if DCU win, they will class themselves as champions, and the Blitzcrank is definitely the way to do it.
Also, the extra wrinkle of earlier today, DCU 2-0's UCD. This afternoon, DCU looking to repeat. It will be celebration for the North Side. Summoner's Rift Game 2, DCU UCD hitting the Rift.
Yeah, and for everybody at home, we have fans of DCU and UCD in the crowd as a great hook in the early game gets the hill out early. If you're a Blitzcrank player, you are playing with confidence after that.
And also, if you want to check that brush, do you see how much vision he had of that brush?
0.
Nada. He could infer from the ward, throw it out. He didn't even need to see them. He's got the echolocation going on.
Now, the thing is, right, all these players have gone to university. They are clearly smart, probably smarter than I am. So, of course, really well played from here to have the instincts of knowing he's in that bush. But I want to give you a quick story. Okay. UCD, the person who actually takes care of all of their esports teams, is here today. And they were talking to us beforehand, being like, I've had a really bad day so far because UCD has lost. How do you think they're feeling now?
Probably not near as happy as they were at the start of this series, but you're not willing to give it up quite yet. They've got plenty of tools. The other one I want to highlight, up in the top lane, Ambessa was the issue to be addressed, and now it's on the issue champion, Mr. 205 years of gameplay, K'Sante.
Yeah, K'Sante's one of those champions which does feel full armor and full tank. He's hard to deal with. There's great flash coming out there from the Caitlyn to get themselves out to safety. But no, up towards the top side, you mentioned it before, K'Sante, once they have that level 6 all out, you don't just kill one person, you can almost 1v5 on this champion if you're good enough.
As you do have that Blitzcrank trading flashes, you are thrilled considering you have Hex Flash. You have the ability to continue to use your dashes. Why do you ask me? Does not have that luxury.
And importantly as well, we mentioned beforehand, UCD should have prior and mid, which is happening, prior and top, which is happening. But the problem is, there is no priority in the bot lane because this Blitzcrank has done so well at finding these hooks.
And in a ranged versus melee support matchup, that is not what you expect to be happening. And meanwhile, up in the top lane, 6-5s, he is looking for Nirvana. He is going to be suffering until he reaches Enlightenment. That is a Scion with 5 CS in 2.5 minutes.
Sandbag, you are meant to have 80 CS at 10 minutes. We are almost a quarter of the way there, and he has 5.
25% of the way to 80 is not 6. Listen, I know you're never supposed to do math on stream, but those numbers, the math ain't math.
Hey, there's a reason why you talk fast and I only know things about League of Legends. There's a reason I said they're better than me at university.
It's going to be a Scion trade up at the top lane. A grasp stacks left, right, and center. And a Cozy with a little bit of a ping towards this bot lane. You see Orianna respecting the fact that J4, in terms of gaking ability, he's more than happy to do it. Level 4, level 5. Nocturne, it's all level 6.
100%, and that's the important thing about this matchup is Nocturne needs to just constantly scale into the game and not worry about what's happening early. Compared to the J4, who scales worse, yes, than the Nocturne, but it's so strong at this point into the game. And when I'm looking at people to try and find ultimates or flashes off, it's both the mid laner, because remember, Azir level 6, Shurima shuffle, free kill. Bot lane, you ever get the flash out, Blitzcrank gets a free hook.
Blitz trying to provide any sort of damage control, connecting with the hook, but no further follow. It ends up just bringing Caitlyn in for a couple more autos. And meanwhile, top lane, 6-5s is just trying to absorb the bludgeoning. K'Sante early on, just wailing on these creeps.
Yeah, and you just see J4, he's thinking about going towards the top side, but knows that it's not going to be able to make a single difference. The fortunate thing about Scion is he is just going to be like that Mundo of the last game and just not care.
No mana though, K'Sante is going to be trying to go for the dive. He sees J4 en route, stepping forwards, caught out. First blood to Cozy once again. DCU's jungler, right place, right time.
Yeah, and towards the bot side, why'd you ask me? Having to use that exhaust to get out to safety as Oct yet again finds another hook. And I mentioned before, the top lane sure isn't the place. However, mid.
Level 5 dashing forwards, does not have that Emperor's Divide. Slimeman's be forced to flash away. The auto attack does not fly, and Luck is there to counter gank it just in time. No level 6s, the ultimates means it ends up being Slimeman's once again slipping out mid.
Yeah, 1-for-1 at the moment, as Joystick in the top lane has got himself that Barmy Shinder, going to be able to clear that wave a whole lot quicker, as at this point in the game, you are still just trying to survive. But 1-for-1, both teams, there's no real place to see the difference.
Ooh, Q3 doesn't land, so 6-5 is able to walk it out. Level 6s on both fronts. It's going to be all out. Cassante is going to go underneath the tower, getting an ult out of the Scion. No block on ult means that the big man in the top lane able to get away.
But that wasn't even the important part. Cassante's W, if he stacks that up, it deals so much percentage HP damage. You would have actually just seen Scion there, but he was actually able to outstep that, get himself out to safety, and he will be able to clear this wave and keep himself alive, at least for now.
Meanwhile, Drake is going to be taken by this Nocturne, the beneficiary of the first kill, as Lozy, cool, calm, and collected, stepping away from the Blitzcrank hook. No flash needed.
And when I'm looking at both of these compositions, I think you're more happy on the side of UCD because, of course, you're really scared of that Blitzcrank early. Hasn't been able to do anything just yet, able to get the first dragon. And both of these teams love to stack these dragons, as last time we saw how powerful it can be once you have those 4 dragons and that major buff.
So we do have a little bit of a lull. 2 junglers on opposite sides of the map. You can see them just clearing, keeping that CS nice and high. And one number out of the 10 really draws my eye.
Yeah, that number is painful, 27-45, just showing how good Scion, or how bad Scion is having at the time, the top side. But I will give you a quick memory of that last game as bot lane.
It's going to be a light binding connecting onto the Blitzcrank. Mana barrier popped. He does not have that passive ability as the Mystic shots fly in. Flashing forward, the heal's going to be spent. It's a 2-man shockwave as Slime Man's trying to find his exit. Flashing out of the way of the rocket grab. Why do you ask me? Is going to be burnt down with the Kaisenel autos, and Slime Man continues in retreat. It's going to be Nocturne looking to rejoin his mid. Cannot chase in the fog as here comes the Paranoia. EQ away, breaking the fear tether. Slowed out command dissonance. It's going to be slow out of the W from J4. 400 HP to his name. It's a smite for a slow. It's a W for a frag, and Slime Man not only out, but paid 101 in the mid lane.
And he did perfectly with that flash, because the important thing is you got the Azir ultimate and then J4 Cataclysm. Using both of them at the same time gives Orion the opportunity to flash out, use her ultimate to create more space, and from the back of that, able to get the turn with luck. And so far, UCD fans are much happier with this game.
That is a bit more what you're wanting if you're wearing a UCD jersey, as it is going to be a bit of a roam from the Blitzcrank. No flashes. That's the robot's best friend. Anytime that you can walk up and go for a straight 50-50, are you dodging or are you S-keying?
Yeah.
That is the position you want. You don't have to keep the flash in mind.
Especially, take a look at his items. He's got himself those swiftness boots. These are the boots in the game to make you as quick as possible. So there's times where you don't even have to hit the hook. You just walk them down, knock them up with your E, hook them in, and it's a free kill for your Ezreal. It's going to be a kill piece with both of these AD carries. However, when you look at the items, you are much happier with that Caitlyn. Of course, that BF sword, an extra 40 extra damage. Slingshot for a little bit more attack speed as well. You can start to see a few of those abilities are starting to chunk.
They are, as speaking of chunks, it's going to be Big Cheese forced to eat his way to safety as Azir, he's got about double-digit HP, so to speak, and Slime Man's Shockwave once again finding space. Maybe not kills, but space.
Yeah, and the reason they want that space is take a look at the Jungler of Luck. With that priority in the mid lane, he's able to get up these Rift Heralds, or sorry, these Void Grubs for free without any contention. Even towards the bot side, you can constantly see the DCU have this game plan. Push towards the bot lane, find yourself and invade, and try to look for kills under these towers. But there's a big difference between a Soroka and a Jhin and a Caitlyn Lux. They actually have some bite back.
Bite back and pushing power. We saw in the previous game, Tristana, when she got her lead, started just shredding structures. Caitlyn's dream world is where you can stand outside of the building and slowly whittle it down. Plates on plates on plates, and in the meantime, trying to buy whatever space you can to lock Blitz underneath his tower, because in the meantime, it's going to be an Emperor's Divide. Slam and has a flash. He never gets a chance to press it. Shutdown goes to Blitzcrank as Oct gets paid.
Yeah, not the member you want to have it on, but it's better to get a kill than not a kill. Azir with an incredible ultimate up towards the mid lane. So towards the top side, we're going to have more just farming. But take a look, there's actually 1,000 gold lead on the side of UCD. And this mostly comes down to the small CS leads from everybody.
Sante all out. It's going to be Eric stepping forwards. No mana on the Scion means he doesn't have his ultimate available. Summoner spell must then be used. 6/5s flashing out.
Yeah, good flash out to safety there as Kaisno getting chunked towards this bot side, especially his tower, as they already got themselves 3 of those camps, as both junglers seem to be hand-holding in this game. Whenever they're top, both of them are there. Whenever they're bot, they're there together, as we will have a 2v2 here.
The jungle scrap. It's going to be the smite going the way of a cozy J4 out. Blitzcrank hook landing in the meantime. Ultimate spent as here comes the paranoia, but the jungler's a little bit too late to find their find. It's going to be Luck trying to trap Uct inside. The trap will seal his fate. AD carry gets paid 1 for 1, but not ult used.
Yeah, and it's difficult to say who's the real winner here. It depends if DCU is able to contest for this objective. Caitlyn's half HP, same with Orianna in the mid lane. It's so risky to do so instead UCD, instead of getting their second dragon, is going to back up. But if they do this, there's actually a chance for DCU to sneak it under their noses.
Slimeman's Shockwave available. Nocturne's ultimate not, and that's a swing and a miss. Orianna not able to find the mark.
Yeah, that ultimate landed. That's a 3-second dragon. I like the idea, but DCU, with the quick outplay from their jungler, is able to get themselves out to safety, and nobody's able to find an early game lead. And with UCD, you're kind of on this timer because of this Azir when he gets to 2. Once he gets to 3 items, he becomes such a thorn in your side. So UCD need to start pairing up Luck's ultimate with the Orianna, but the problem is, it's about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes before that's back up.
So you continue to see more trading here up in the top lane, and one very clear victor. Anytime Cassante's got that ultimate, you gotta fear, and in the meantime, Sion's just trying to survive as best he can. Drake still stood, ultimate's coming off CD.
Yeah, HG1S doing well towards this top side. Isn't able to find a bigger lead just because Ebessa versus Cassante, you don't have as much damage in this early game. But chunking out this tower, already got themselves 2 tower plates, is looking for that 3rd, and it feels like everyone on UCD is chipping out the enemy towers. But we still be looking for those major ultimates to come up. Luck's ultimate Paranoia is up and available. You can see how badly he wants to start this objective prior towards the bot lane, but they still have to be careful with that Blitzcrank hook.
Yeah, you just have Drake in the meantime. Just hassled a little bit. The 2 teams focused as we cut to those cameras. It's going to be ultimate up in the top lane blocking. And 6/5s down. It's domination for Cassante. 20 CS and now a solo bolo.
Yeah, Josic able to clear that wave at least, but it feels like it's just not enough. Gonna lose another tower play. 400 gold UCD will be gaining after that. But even though they're losing topside, they're looking for this dragon towards the bot.
Knockwave is available. Orianna and Nocturne both have their ultimates. Uct on the side here, trying to find their way on in. It's going to be EQ forwards here. Here comes the Cataclysm spent on out. Why do you ask me? Try to kite away from the Cataclysm. Slime Man slipping away as well, but Israel's able to finish him off as here goes Kaisa now. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Why do you ask me? He's got some HP to work with. Lozy, flashlight binding, lands on full bot lane. It's a great play from the support of UCD. That's going to be winning them a Drake, their 2nd of the game. Lozy stepping up on land.
Yeah, and there's a reason why you don't care if you ban away the karma for the side of UCD. This incredible Lux in the bot lane knows how to play the champion. Incredible flash gets them out to safety. And I thought DCU had the right plan. Be the ones to engage, find that huge cataclysm, but it feels like they just don't have the damage behind them. You see the Orianna shockwave, how much it can do for that team. So the 2nd dragon goes over, and this gold lead we mentioned beforehand, it was only about 1,000 gold, now up to 4,000. You see their smile. You see how happy they are to win that team fight.
Big grins out of UCD as they start to build themselves a little bit of a lead, right? 3K approximately up the top here. A couple of Drakes, couple of Grubs slowly building their way into the game. And Slime Man surviving. He plays these edges so well. In mid lane, 2-man Shockwave slips out to the top side. In that fight and Tribrush, gets cataclysmed, slips out, and forces Ezreal to join him. He is making them work for these kills, putting themselves in bad situations. Give me a flash forwards, hold that thought, as here comes Uct on the engage, trying to put some damage in. 90 caliber net, and here's the 2-man ultimate with the laser blocking. Is the support living up to the name, is up to the top lane. It's going to be Cassante going all out, full charge, decimating smash. Drake is their prize. Turret living on slivers. Uct trying to find something more, and the fight will fizzle as they look over this Nocturne. Luck jumping on in, able to spell shield out that rocket grab, forcing a flash out of the marksman. Kaisa now once again out, but bruised and bloodied DCU's bot lane in retreat.
And it feels like DCU make a good play towards the bot side as top.
Keep it going. Cassante and Sion trading back and forth. It's footwork and boot planted as AG1S able to get not only structure, but laner 2, UCD gaining momentum.
Yeah, and compared to the first game, they feel like an absolute different beast. Of course, 8G1S are doing the exact same, incredible towards the top side. But the rest of the team is showing up, and especially because of this bot lane. Caitlyn Lux, what a combination that is, right? You have huge damage, you have great threat potential with the team, and you can see they're starting to pivot themselves around the map. When you have a Cassante on your team, you leave him on the opposite side, you allow him to soak up so much pressure. Keep the Caitlyn Lux in the mid lane, you gain the priority. Orianna on the side, you think would be so easy to engage on. You always have to remember, behind you is that Nocturne. That 1v1 starts turning into a 2v1 very quickly.
Fights are not fair. It's going to be a flash here for the marksman of UCD. Emperor's Divide and Summoner's Spell both spent in trade for just a net.
Yeah, and you got to be happy if you're the side of UCD. You're able to get a major ability out, which means DCU can't contest for this Rift Herald. So they can place it towards the mid lane, force Azir to back off and start opening up the map. Because the big thing when you're playing compositions like DCU, as we might need to hold it,
Cassante trying to go all out, will do so using the Unstoppable to block that rocket grab. It's a 3 versus 1. Cassante's and Topho strike goes astray. He's going to be dashing forwards, locked down and shut down. Ezreal has the cavalry arriving. An overstep from Eric. He drops his second of the game.
yeah, Sion pivoting towards the mid lane, maybe looking for that outplay, but Azir gets chunked out, so won't be able to find anything. Ezreal surviving towards the bot lane, getting a kill on HE1S, but still losing more on the opposite side of the map. And the thing I was meant to mention beforehand is DCU, their composition, they want to find picks, right? The way to find picks is so much easier when the enemy team has no vision. The easiest way to find vision is when you're ahead. So once this game in that mid lane tower starts to go down, you start getting sort of corralled into one position. And when you're in one position, Blitzcrank finds it even harder to find that pick. And the longer the game goes, the more scared I'm getting, because this Blitzcrank needs to find a lead early. Otherwise, like we mentioned, he's definitely not going to be a Lux.
He is not going to be a Lux as he throws out one more hook and does not connect on that one. Meanwhile, they have the information. They saw the hook thrown out. Luck and Lozy are going to be jumping on forwards here, spell shielding out that E. Beating a hasty retreat is this Blitz, but no harm, no foul.
Yeah, both these teams just getting ready for that third dragon. Is going to be sole point for UCD once they pick this up. And DCU, we mentioned they need to have that vision game on lock, and that's exactly what they're doing. 4 members towards the mid side. Ezreal trying to clear this wave, making sure that there's nothing that the side of UCD can see.
DCU trying to walk their way on in. It's going to be a fight over this positioning. Enter trying to walk on in. You see a Hex Flash from Oct. Herald summoned up in the mid lane, and we've seen this one in game 1. Herald maybe not quite as scary as it may seem. Sion goes wide, but the Blitzcrank hook finds the mark. That's going to be Lozy. Going to be jumped on immediately as the Ignite's going to be ticking, burning to a crisp. It's Azir who's slipping away as best he can, but he's down. Luck first to flash away, but he's going to be traded in the meantime. Lozy laser. Why do you ask? He's got the reinforcements as 6/5s. Channeling a Q, zoning as tanks do, as now it's up to AG1S. Tanking tower shots with reckless abandon. They get mid T1. Kaisenel trying to chip down onto Lozy, who's repositioning on the left-hand side of your fight. Sion cut to shreds. Blitzcrank finished off. Kaisenel in retreat, and UCD able to pick up mid-tower and the team fight.
Yeah, and you see the difference between both of these teams. You had the Blitzcrank and the Nocturne having 2 targets. One of them went down the DCU side, while UCD still stayed alive. And with the difference in numbers, no matter how low you are, Lutz can still deal that damage. They win the fight. They should be able to get themselves the third dragon as well. As DCU, they're still in this game, but it's started to fall apart.
You start to look towards Ikozy and Oct. Those are the 2 members with the snap engage. In game 1, they were on point. The Bash brothers into the backlines. Wukong, Rakan. Engage, engage, engage. This one, you have to try and lean on those hooks that you highlighted, but without Fog, a much tougher ask.
Yeah, but take a look. UCD didn't actually take the objective. They were too scared with that Ezreal still being alive. So they're actually giving up their full position. There's a chance to walk in, but 4,000 going down to 3. DCU is going to steal away this objective and give themselves another 5 minutes of scaling, because we know Azir, once he gets towards 3 items, he's a huge threat.
Flash hook, Nocturne. Here comes the Orianna Shockwave. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Make it a 2 for as Kaisenel in retreat. Caitlyn's got the headshot barrier spent. Azir can't do the damage in time. Here comes the Sion looking to rejoin. It's up to Big Cheese to try and turn the damage. The exhaust is through. The Emperor's arrived as it's a shutdown for the mid laner. The auto attack to finish it off. Light's able to blow him to smithereens. Is now 6-5s. He's got himself a very sticky situation. No CC lands, forcing the flash out of the top laner. Cassante and Sion, the long, slow, painful chase down as Sion's going to be trying to get one back for his troubles and Telpo Strike spent. Sion eventually finished, but you're already seeing how tanky this undead Juggernaut is getting.
And the thing is, right, we can easily say HE1S is more useful in the team fights. For now. The exact same as what we said yesterday, or the game before. Joystick will get to a point where it becomes more tanky. It might take him an extra 10 minutes, but he is going to get there. Same for the Azir. DCU, they're scaling. They're slowly getting back into this. So UCD still on that timer, but they are in such a great position. Dragging up in 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Got themselves the Baron as well. And if there's a team comp you do not want to have Baron, it will be UCD. A team like last time who's incredible at taking these towers because of their range advantage.
Slime Man Shockwave will dissuade any further chase down. Nocturne was running towards that top side to reinforce his mid laner, and the play will fizzle top.
Yeah, and I'm just taking a look at these items, and you, as a UCD team, are at the strongest point you'll ever get to. 2 items on the next turn, the Hextech plate, making it whenever you use your ultimate, you get more attack speed, you have a bit of HP, and that cooldown reduction on the ultimate. You have, of course, Orianna, got yourself the Deathfire, and that Leandri's incredible burn against the Sion to try and chip through them. But most importantly, take a look at HG1S, has himself those 3 items.
3-item Cassante and ultimate CD as well. It's going to be Ekozi dashing forwards. Locked up with that light binding, a little bit more damage, forcing a flash out of the DCU jungler. He's bitten off a little bit more than he can chew, but is able to spit it out at the cost of his flash.
Sandbag, I do love that, because there's sometimes where you could just walk in with that amount of confidence that the enemy team is like, there's no way he's here on his own, right? But he was. There was a chance he could have died if he wasn't that confident on it. But so far, nobody's able to find that massive lead, but I still will look at most of these flashes. Caitlyn and Lux both have that flash available. I mean, Oct has a chance to pick him off.
Pings mid, fear tether broken. It's Kaisenel able to shift out with any sort of a fuss, and Nocturne being proactive is what you like to see.
Yeah, and you can see why he's able to do that. Prior on mid, prior on the bot side, but you just have to be so careful as this Blitzcrank, because you ever miss that hook, there's an easy time to get chased down.
In the meantime, it is going to be Sion slapping around this Orianna. The sustain from his item is just so disgusting. It's a lot of chip damage back and forth, but Slayman, this is a very arduous task to eventually knock down the Sion.
Yeah, you still kind of need another item to make this work.
As it's going to be an ultimate committed on both sides, Slime Man and Sion. You just got to play a little bit of a dance around the hat type of deal. Slime Man is eventually able to push out the Sion, but look at the itemization. The MR for both of these 2 top laners is dregs at best.
Yeah, of course you do have Zeke's, which is able to give you, I believe, 25 magic resist, which does help, but isn't going to be the best. And against Orianna, you're not really expecting her to be bursting out a Sion. She's all there to try and help burst somebody out with luck. While on the opposite side, Azir is somebody who could do so much better at it, but you need a lot more magic damage, so you need that 3rd item.
As we do have a bit of a lull moment. You see Nocturne hovering mid constantly, over and over and over. Listen, we made the one luck joke. Nocturne is really trying to get lucky and catch somebody asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, and he's trying to look towards the bot lane. Azir, of course, has the flash and Streamer shuffle out to safety.
Fear, Tether, Emperor's Divide. It's now Luck with a whole lot of move speed, though. Anytime he's got that Fear through, it's going to be AG1S with a little bit of chip damage. Big Cheese down to half HP, but he's got Jarvan waiting en route. Blitzcrank is caught, jumped on, and blown up. No help from the support here. As Cassante is going to go all out. Kaisenel with a whole host of trouble as here comes AG1S. The laser's going to go straight. It's flashing forwards. This is the Nocturne. Cozy throwing up Cataclysm, but he can't get it done. It's UCD picking up a hat trick, losing only their jungler. and moving their way in towards this bot T2.
Yeah, and take a look. Dragon's up in 10 seconds. They can take it for free if they want to, or instead just push both mid, bot lane, and top side. There's nothing the enemy team could do against it. Because usually you'd say, Azir, just streamer ult them into your tower and you'll win. But he has no ultimate available because of what Luck was able to do early. And for a player who's only just come into the team as the B-side's main carry, he's doing incredibly well.
He is rising to the occasion. Sion playing with every single point of his health bar to clear that wave out. Will eventually cede control of the top side. Drake, in the meantime, is going to be chipped down. Mid T1 living on slivers. DCU bending, not breaking.
Yeah, as both of these teams fighting for everything. Remember, there's over 1,000 students here who did play in these tournaments, just showing how big it is over here in Ireland. DCU versus UCD, the best two teams. But the funny thing is, right, you have a few other teams here, like QUB, somebody named Wiggler over in the crowd, who's probably not feeling the greatest, as he had a team called the Wiggy Wanderers, who was able to get towards the final multiple times. Not able to make it here today, but hopefully for that next season.
Knocked out in semis at the hands of this DCU squad, a pair of colleges who have been, once again, chipping their way at one another. There's been a lot of matchups over the course of the regular season up in Premier. They've got a feel for one another. It felt like DCU were on the upswing. They were the ones who had a little bit of momentum to their name, but weren't quite getting everything together, right? Lots of potential, but nothing converted. DCU game 1 converted. Game 2, maybe sliding back to a little bit of familiar territory.
Yeah, as both teams will be fine for control over towards this top side around the Baron. I did want to mention that we talk about Premier. These are the top tiers of universities. But of course, we do have the normal leagues for everybody at home. If you're a gold, silver player, you could be any sort of rank and you can still join a team. Because esports at the end of the day is fun to see the best players play, but it's also fun to play yourself if you're ever at university.
As we go for a trigger pull, Nocturne is looking to get the party started as here comes a long-range rocket grab. It's going to be a blitz hook as here comes the Cataclysm onto the spell shield. Arc is able to get one down, force the flash away out of the box. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade. DCU end up coming out numbers ahead. Very nice hook, getting Luck, turning it into 2-for-1 as this Cassante will not be easy to try and chip down. Maybe a bit of an unstoppable play here as he steps forwards with that footwork as Cassante goes all out to 1v4. Does he have enough damage to get it done? He does indeed! Reinforcements from their support. It's going to be a flash away from Cassante. It's going to be all Cassante! 200 years brought to bear as 8G1S looks for more. Tofo number 3 and Victim number 3. Why do you ask me gets paid? DCU swung UCD with a bigger counter.
It wasn't even a big counter. It was all their top laner. And what is happening? Every time there's an incredible play, there's always a pause. I love replays, and I feel like this is just a replay moment.
This is just a replay wearing a trench coat. The pause will be updated as soon as we get a little bit more information for you guys. And I'm going to leak a little bit of chat here. Cassante 2 OP.
No, he said
the call
that.
in chat. Cassante 2 OP question mark. That pause seems valid to me.
Yeah.
Cassante 2 OP, I can get behind that one.
Yeah, Cassante champ with 4,007 HP, 350 armor, and 450 magic resist. That seems pretty fair to me.
The copy pastas are absolutely on point, but as you zoom out a little bit, 2.5 minutes towards this Drake, it feels like DCU need to get lopsided. They need to overload, they need to take risks, because in straight fights, that was 4 versus 1.
Yeah.
That's about as lopsided a fight as you can get. You just put the caution tape around the top lane and go, do not cross, do not address, don't look at it, don't make eye contact, let's go fight elsewhere, because this Cassante he's not being brought down.
Yeah, but I actually want to make another note on both of these mid laners, because we've seen the Oriana's always had the number of the Azir, right? That last team fight, Azir won the 1v1. It's starting to turn into their favor. Yes, Sion hasn't become that big beefy tank we want him to be. Cassante is a huge different monster, but honestly, I think he just will be. But the person to deal with it is the Azir. 2.5 items in the pocket, able to pick up another kill at the end of that fight. Once you get that death cap, your 3rd item, you can start shredding not just everybody, but also that tank.
A moment to gather.
Yeah.
This is a moment. The first one was the Karthus ultimate. Now we have the Cassante ultimate. These champions are breaking the confines of the Rift. We will have to throw to a quick break to rein them back in and bring it back to Summoner's Rift. UCD, DCU, Game 2 will finish right after this break. Looking to get this one over the line and push that third and final Game 3.
Talking about complete control, we keep talking about top lane. HG1S, what a play he made. Get that hype up for him. Incredible first game, incredible second one. But let's take a look at the bot lane, because I feel as a support main, we need some love down here. Lozy and Why'd You Ask Me, 10-2-6, 2-1-15 against a Blitzcrank. And this player, Oct, is no one to really sniff at. He's somebody who has played in the UKL. UKL, of course, is the top UK league. Big up UK from me. However, it is a really incredible league. If anybody knows about Los Ratones, they played in the league above that, just showing how impressive these players are. But DCU, difficult position, but we mentioned beforehand, death cap on Azir. Take a look. Had both components only 1,000 gold away.
It's amazing. You pick a champion that actually does damage, and you know what you do? You do damage.
Wow.
Mr. Useful not on Rift means he's able to get some damage done, as it is going to be a death brush. It's going to be a light binding going wide as now Oct dashing forwards. Hook is going astray as now here comes the Scion engage. Ultimate's going to be sent on in. It's a two-man shockwave, but now it's isolated is Luck. This Nocturne's going to be isolated from his team and knocked down. Scion so much tankier than the Knock. Will eventually be a long form 1-for-1 as here comes the engage. It's going to be light binding connecting onto the Jarvan. Here goes HG1S. Lozy's able to pick that one up, kiting out the zombie passive. Lozy and Eric linking arms, pushing out Ezreal. Bot lane ends up being a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, coming out with the victory there. And UCD, it was a great play coming out from Luck, understanding that if Sion finds that play, he wasn't able to re-engage himself, the team would have been able to play a front to back, leaving the Azir to just fully deal damage. So for that, UCD aren't able to find themselves a massive lead, but they're not getting themselves in a losing position. But take a look, Sandbag, top right-hand corner, 40 seconds until that dragon is the exact same as the first one. If the next dragon goes over to UCD, they're going to be unkillable with that Ocean Soul.
A poke comp with infinite resources to poke you with. That is absolute misery. And if you're Kaisanel, if you're this Azir even, it's going to be tough to do. But the rest of the members, you know, your Scion, your J4, your Blitzcrank, your damage is functionally irrelevant. Because if you're in combat, you're giving them HP.
Yeah, for everybody who doesn't know what the Ocean Soul does, it gives you extra HP every time you take damage. So a poke comp, you can see why it's so impressive against that. It's up in 5 seconds time. No flash available for Why'd You Ask Me or Lozy, meaning that Oct is able to find a hook. The problem is you see these traps, you want to be in there first, and DCU have an uphill battle to climb.
Caitlyn has the line set up. The sand has been marked, and to find your way in. Akozi's the one to keep your eyes on. He has a smite, but no flash. This is going to be a one-way ticket. Jarvan waiting. 4k HP. In goes this Cataclysm. It's going to be 3-man knocked in, but he's got no support. He's isolated and killed as here goes HG1S. Kasante's going to go into the backlines himself. That's going to be Luck doing some damage. A 2-man Azir ult. The Emperor's Divide's going to get a whole heap of damage. Here comes Big Cheese. The Emperor might be able to turn this one around. Slideman down. It's Azir who turns it. A quadra kill to mid later. DCU. Cassante, the only one on his feet, is Oct and Kaisanel gonna put some damage back into him. Cassante lives, but huge plays out of the mid laner for DCU.
Yeah, HG1S going against both from UC. They're trying to deal damage, but they can't do anything. Oh, might just be dead here.
Cassante, no ult, no flash, no problem getting summoners out of the support at DCU as Oct is on his heels. Blitzcrank level up changes, not a thing. Unstoppable is top lane. Drake not taken. We're running it all the way back.
I was about to say, I'm having worse, that we're going to be having another team fight to decide who's getting that major objective. DCU on the edge of glory. And remember, huge teams, we talked about the Azir with an incredible Shurima shuffle. However, he didn't have the death cap. Now he does. That ultimate is going to be bonkers in that next fight, as both teams seem to be pinging in different directions. DCU might be giving this up and going for this Baron instead.
It's going to be a first blue ward, though. UCD understand. They're able to send members if they so wish, and it's going to be pinged off immediately. Nocturne going to put some damage into the
teleport.
strike.
Teleport fully up towards the top side. There's a chance that DCU can engage 4v5.
UCD have to disengage this. They do not want this numbers disadvantage, and the paranoia is going to be thrown out defensively. 90 caliber net going to be flashed away from as a Cozy just blown to smithereens as here comes the Nocturne ultimate. Luck running. Laser astray, but here comes Cassante with kill of his own. It's going to be top lane gap here as HG1S gets onto the Azir. Emperor's Divide used defensively as Luck is going to be able to retreat. Flashing forwards and gets him. Lightning will not strike twice as it's a double kill to Why Do You Ask Me? Eric on a rampage. Uct in retreat again. 4-0. Ace will be wrapped up. UCD want that third game.
Numbers be damned. It doesn't matter. You can have a 5 versus 4 and HG1S is going to win out. Flashing on that Azir, doesn't care about that death cap, and they get themselves this objective. So we will have ourselves another quick pause, and it was a major team fight. Yet again. It feels like we've got a little pattern going on here of huge play issues. But Sandbag, what a series we have on our hands, because when we're looking at both of these teams, it's clear that UCD are most likely going to win this this game. 10,000 gold lead, huge in League of Legends. They only have to win one more and they can get themselves that mid lane tower. Now, it's going to be a sound issue again with the AD carry. The problem is DCU have 3 AD carries, so it could be really any of them.
The problem with flexes is not only for the enemy team who's trying to figure out a draft to navigate, but also for production when they say, hey, our AD carry is having issues, and then you have to walk out to a bunch of different PCs to check
it's like, our casters having an issue. Which one?
Casters are always having an issue. That's what we have back here.
Honestly, they're our issue. You know, right games and their production behind the scenes, that is the pain. But of course, we are trying to get it fixed as quick as possible. And I'm seeing an R, meaning that we might be pretty close to getting it ready.
Should be nice and easy. Soul complete. Baron not taken, though. There was a bit of a bluff of, we're going to take the Baron. If we give up the Soul, the Blue Ward to scout it. DCU, even with a Baron, don't feel like they convert this game.
No, 100%. I agree with you. DCU were in a desperate situation, but they started that objective up to try and get UCD off theirs. Now, they did get the 4 versus 5 fight they wanted, and then HG1S did their thing. Fortunately for DCU, Azir will still be a massive threat. No flash available for HG1S to get on top of the Azir, but no flash from the Azir to get away. So plenty of outplay potential. As UCD don't just get themselves the objective of the Dragons, they also get themselves the Baron, as they will be looking for a full 5-man towards the mid lane, as they need to be careful of if HG1S ever goes to a side, there's a chance you just have a ultimate from a Cozy, and then Azir just takes over.
And the first way, we didn't even get a chance to set it up properly, considering they just insta-pulled the trigger on the 4v5. Kaisanel, Big Cheese, Why Do You Ask Me, and Slime Man all had flashes from that first fight where the burst damage was so big they didn't even get them off. This one, that is not the case. Huge Cheese has no flash for a big playmake. He has to do it with simply his base kit.
Okay, I agree with you, but let's also take a look. We have ourselves GAs completed from Why Do You Ask Me and the jungle as jungle.
Looking for a flank here. It is going to be a Cataclysm flying in as both junglers separate themselves. Luck has got the Guardian Angel. He will not even be needing it as it's a 1-for-0 pick. And Cozy strays too far from his damage. Dead on arrival. HG1S understands he cannot. Sion going to be in the back lines, trying to find the flank, but it's all eyes on Huge Cheese. Here goes Cassante. The shockwave's going to be slipped away from. Sion's going to be the one taking the damage. He cannot survive it. The storm has taken him down. Is now 5-6 is working his way on the wave. 5v3 carries and Uct. The hook will go wide. UCD descends. They look to wrap this up.
Yeah, they're so close to finishing this off.
It's going to be an Emperor's Divide into the fountain, but interrupted with that knock-up. GA spent. UCD on the steps of DCU's base. Will not be swept, will not be dispatched, and will be bringing us into a Game 3.
And that's exactly what you want to see. This is why we watch League of Legends, and especially the Irish variant. Of course, Red Bull being the ones to help us set this up, but these players are giving us a showing, and HG1S, he might be the player of the series already.
A tale of 2 games. First game, Engage beats Jin.
Yep.
Second game, DCU goes for another Engage. J4 Blitzcrank is dealt with and falls flat on that one. So UCD, DCU, we said it was going to be very difficult to separate them. We're all knotted up at one apiece.
Exactly. You're feeling much better if you are a UCD fan, able to get your first victory, not of just this game, but of today, as they did get, in the nicest way, a bit dominated in Valorant. However, of course, we are going to have that third and final game. Sandbag, remember, they have 10 champions, not able to pick anymore. Of course, the 3 bans as well, up to 26, if I've learned how to do maths. As I'm just excited to see, because you're going to have to go deep into the pits of champions to see what's going to come up.
Yep, and this is Grants. You have nothing left to hide. If you have pocket picks, if you've been prepping something over the course of the season, now is your time, and you will not want to miss this. DCU UCD League of Legends Grands Game 3 right after the break.